evening. Welcome to the Government News Brief. This evening, Prime Minister urges cooperation to resolve sugar woes, Business Minister calls for investment in BPO industry, and more citizens connected to government's internet network. These stories and more when we return. Thanks for staying with us. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu says time to stop playing politics and help sugar workers. More from Tiffany Rodius.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, performing the duties of the President, makes a special plea to GAWU head Komal Chand. He wants the union to work with the government to find amicable solutions to the country's sugar problems.
Mr. Komal Chand, I want to speak directly to him that he should not be looking at union dues as the only rationale for the existence of GAWU, but to take a very active role in putting forward suggestions on how we can help the sugar workers and how the diversification could take place in order to save as many jobs as we can and be able to promote not only a sugar industry that will be profitable, but also an agro-based industry that will ensure food security for Guyana.
Almost daily, GAWU leads sugar workers in protest action against the government's plan to amalgamate factories and estates in the sugar industry. In May, the Minister of Agriculture laid a white paper which proposes downsizing the sugar industry to make it viable. The Prime Minister is encouraging GAWU to approach the industry in a patriotic and positive way.
GAWU has an ample opportunity to deal and to discuss with the issue of the sugar industry. The problem in the sugar industry is not new. It was, in fact, exacerbated during the time of the PPP.
The government has injected $38 billion into the sugar industry over the last 2 years. Despite this, sugar production continues to be low, but Prime Minister Nagamutu says the government will not give up on sugar.
I want to make it very clear that, that the sugar industry is not dying. We are trying to put in place the formula and the mechanism for the survival of sugar in Guyana, but with a reduced workforce and reduced number of acreage on the cultivation. And so I believe that the sugar workers should not allow themselves to be used.
Prime Minister Nagamutu notes that the white paper is a guide as to what would be the way forward for sugar. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rodius.
Foreign investors are encouraged to set up shop in the unique emerging sectors in Guyana. Details in this report. The Guyana Office for Investment, GoInvest, in collaboration with Nearshore and CX Guyana, today engaged investors in the business processing outsourcing BPO industry to bring out more investors into Guyana's economy. Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin says this will create more jobs, especially since Guyana has all the ingredients to support the BPO industry.
We're the only English-speaking country in South America. And the English that we speak is clear and understandable. That's important to note. A lot of people speak English. Our people are trainable and respond well to coaching. Guyana's population is relatively young and eager to work. Guyana is a politically stable country with democratically elected governments, and Guyana enjoys a free market economy with stable macroeconomic indicators.
United States Ambassador to Guyana Perry Holloway highlights that the U.S. and Guyana have shared strong relationships for many years. He urges the investors to maintain a healthy relationship with Guyana in the BPO industry.
That a wealth of developing in new industries like petroleum to the liberalization of the telecommunications sector and a comparative advantage enjoyed by few countries in the region. High literacy rate, diverse and very young population, cultural familiarity with the United States, and English as a common language makes this the right time to invest in Guyana.
Additionally, Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes says that investment in the BPO industry will help improve the emerging telecommunications sector.
Government is more committed to ensuring that we're putting the mechanisms in place so that we can provide, first of all, better services online to the citizens of Guyana, and then, of course, in the area of ensuring that we have better bandwidth, secure and rampant internet access throughout the length and breadth of Guyana.
The 3-day program concludes on June 9, 2017. More citizens are computer literate and connected to the internet thanks to government's intervention. Gabriela Patram has more.
As the Ministry of Public Telecommunications continues to make a number of strides towards advancing Guyana to the modern technological age, Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes highlights some of the achievements at the Ministry's mid-year press conference today.
To date, we have connected 24 government ministries and agencies onto the e-government fiber optic network, 84 secondary educational institutions, 9 TVEC institutions, 5 regional development offices, 21 tertiary education and training and skills building institutions, and 24 other skills institutions.
Additionally, more than 98,000 citizens in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 now enjoy free access to the World Wide Web through ICT hubs. Some of the communities include Good Hope, Aishalton, Anai, and Letem, Minister Hughes says.
We have been focusing on connecting communities through the creation of ICT hubs, and we've identified 55 such hubs and have started installing the hardware like the wireless routers at these locations. Today, at these community centers, the pavilions and the games rooms are usually full of people, school children and adults on their iPads, their cell phones, laptops, and other devices doing homework and surfing the net. This is part of our goal of providing the technology and the opportunity for our citizens to do research, to complete SBAs. I think most people know that SBAs are now required to be submitted online at our high school level, and to develop and promote for individuals any online businesses or entrepreneurial activities citizens might be involved in.
The Ministry of Public Telecommunications is taking steps to enhance Guyana's competitiveness on the global sphere through a knowledge-based and educated society with ICT. For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patram.
Private sector support is being sought by stakeholders to boost cardiac services in Guyana. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
A documentary program has been launched as part of the effort to get more stakeholders, including the private sector, involved in providing critical cardiac care to children in need. The documentary Born Blue highlights the work of the Guyana Program to Advance Cardiac Care and the Baby Heart Foundation in Guyana.
We're hoping that some of the private interests in Guyana will really step up and take ownership of the health of Guyanese people. And they'll say, we want to make a difference, we want to partner, we see what's being done and what can be done, and we want to be part of it. So we're looking for them to partner with us in sustainable improvement in healthcare.
Born Blue, a 40-minute documentary, focuses primarily on the pediatric cardiac surgeries completed during 2016 in Guyana. Premiered at the Carol Lodge, Georgetown, last evening, it provides an in-depth look at some of the challenges and constraints affecting effective cardiac care.
Cardiac care is indeed costly, and so I hope that tonight's activity would encourage our private sector to invest extensively in this area, where so many of our citizens, and particularly our young children, are at risk of cardiac disease. The title of tonight's documentary, Born Blue, aptly reminds us of the cardiac complications that can occur during pregnancy.
The Canadian government is also advocating for additional support.
The screening of Born Blue, the Guyana Project documentary this evening, will highlight the work of the GPAC and also showcase their interventions and try and change the course of cardiovascular diseases here in Guyana, especially for the most vulnerable in society, children.
Guyana has high rates of death and disability due to heart disease. Approximately 60% of children tested for heart disease require surgery. GPAC has spearheaded research and education locally to determine the cause of such high rates of heart diseases, especially in children. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
The Central Recruitment and Manpower Agency of the Ministry of Social Protection assists Guyanese to get jobs. Delon Sanko has the details.
Valerie Moore, Chief Recruitment and Manpower Officer, says the agency is collaborating with other departments to have persons gainfully employed. She explained that despite some persons having limited qualifications and difficult circumstances, the agency does not turn away job seekers.
We advise them, look, you can go here, or BIT has a training where you can do 6 months and whatever you, but we find out what their preferences in terms of skill, what they like to do, and so once they show interest in a skill, we direct them to the Board of Industrial Training. You have other people who come for work but have some circumstances that they can't really, because most of the time the work requires police clearance, and some, if you're going to do some food thing, you got to have your food handler certificate, and some people don't have the resources or don't have the money to do it. So we make referrals to our department, the difficult circumstances, and see if they can help them get some funds, and they do what they have to do and come back. Because remember, the workplace, they want stuff, and you can't send people there without, because it won't make sense. They won't take them in, so we would try.
Moore says the department facilitates the process up until interview, but it is out of the department's hand after that. She explains that it is a responsibility of the individuals to act in a professional and responsible manner.
People will come back and say they've been with us so much years, and they go in and come in and never get nothing. When they go, they don't get through. We can't make the people take you. We could send you as much, so you cover the whole public sector. That's what we can do. As many times as possible, we can send you, but we can't make people take you.
CRMA has offices in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
Our national athletes' recent successes stem from close collaboration between the government and sporting associations. Paul McAdam reports.
Director of Sport Christopher Jones says that upon taking office, the government has played a very supportive role to the various sporting organizations. The supportive roles, Jones says, are not only financial but fostering the right environment for athletes.
We have started a very good relationship with all of the association from the initial stage. So is that we have a very close collaborative effort being thought between government and the associations to ensure that whatever assistance is needed for their respective athletes, those would have been given to them. And that is why it is no secret as to why we are currently seeing the successes that we're currently seeing.
The successes Jones refers to includes Guyana's exceptional performance at the Caribbean Free Trade Association CRIFTA Games and at the South American Junior Championships. Additionally, Guyana's national football under-15 team recently came out victorious at the Soliga tournament in St. Martin.
This trend will continue because moving ahead and looking forward in 2018, we're hoping to make even more input into the development of the various associations, and of course working together with the associations. We would have asked them to submit to us early their agenda for 2018 so that we will be able to plan for them, budget for them as well, moving forward.
Similar performances are expected to be displayed by athletes in upcoming tournaments such as the Goodwill Games and the Inter-Ghana Games. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
Thanks for watching. Visit gina.gov.gy for more news and information 24/7. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, and the links are on the screen. Have a great evening.